All right, Yoshi, ready to do this?
No, I'm gonna go home, man.
You don't have a choice.
Oh, come on, you're not really gonna. No, you're. No!
All right, where the point is, we just saw the Suicide Squad.
I thought it was a good movie. It has its flaws, but the flaws were minor to the good, awesome stuff that were awesome. I said awesome 3 times, and I'm standing by that.
Overall, the movie was a good movie. And I'm the one that was already going into this movie with it, this expectation. I was very pleased to get, a really good movie.
I didn't go with expectations, I went with hopes, and my hopes was, DC, give me an awesome movie, and they did. They gave me, the DC Cinematic Universe has an awesome movie in it.
We're just gonna roll right into the story. The story overall was really engaging for me. I was engaged the entire time.
I thought the story was good. The story was solid in the introduction of the characters. Didn't take too long to introduce them, but also didn't take too short to not give us enough to know who we are dealing with and things.
Basic premise of the story. Bunch of people with cool powers get roped into doing good stuff or they die. Suicide Squad.
It's like the Dirty Dozen in the DC universe with supervillains.
So, the story was great, really engaging. It flowed good. It started hard, had a couple of slow points that were good slow points, picked right back up. You were kind of just on this nice little roller coaster. Good climax.
Yeah.
You made a good point that the stakes were very high. They stayed high until the end. When it ended, it ended. I think that'll roll us right into just talking about what the Suicide Squad is. The Squad. Let's talk about the characters.
Not all of the characters got equal screen or importance, but that worked really well for the movie. They made you care more for these characters that they wanted you to care more for, and they didn't waste too much time with characters that they didn't want you to care. Starting with one of my favorite DC villains, which is Deadshot, who always is undershined by Deathstroke, who is just the worst. Who cares about Deathstroke? Deadshot is the coolest. I did see Will Smith more than I saw Deadshot, but that didn't change the fact that I still really enjoyed Deadshot, and I did enjoy it how he was characterized.
The thing about Will Smith taking Deadshot in the very beginning, before the movie came out, is that he was getting a lot of flack for it. I was one of those people that was giving him flack. I thought it was a very, very bad cast. I have never been more happily proven wrong. Yes, it's very hard to not see Will Smith, but he did Deadshot well. Deadshot was explained, he was handled with gusto, and everything about the character from comic book was on the screen.
Oh yeah, no,
it was very well.
I loved the character, and I have no problem with the fact that I saw Will Smith, but that isn't always true because I didn't see Jared Leto when I saw the Joker.
Yes,
I saw this incarnation of the Joker. Speaking of Jared Leto as the Joker, this Joker was a new, oldish incarnation. I think he was the most like the '89 Jack Nicholson Joker more than anything. Just a more hyped up version of that.
If you want to compare him between Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger, yes, he is more of the Jack Nicholson character.
And even Cesar Romero, I think he's still more.
We're not going to go talk about the 60s.
I'm just bringing it up. He was more of the gangster type, just a little bit crazy, but seemed to have a plan, so it wasn't all like mentally blah.
What I loved about how they portrayed his character is that they made it with the way they did the cinematography whenever he was talking. They gave a lot of like those little like shutter scenes where for like a quick second you see his head here and then there, then here again. So it was very clear. He's a twisted dude. He's still there. He's just, I'm gonna just kind of shoot you in the face now. I don't know why. And then when you combine that with Harley Quinn rolling right into her, they really did mesh very well. His weird kookiness and her weird kookiness I saw Mr. J and Miss Quinn. I saw it. It was great. I was so happy with Margot Robbie. She was the star of the dang movie. She was awesome.
Margot Robbie's performance was, I think, better than Harley Quinn was as a character.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Like
that's a dangerous statement, but it's good.
There were times where I kind of wish that Harley Quinn would have been even more crazy or more unpredictable. She wasn't unpredictable. That's a fanboy nitpick.
She was still kooky and crazy.
She was still kooky, crazy, and nutty. She had all the best line, and Margot Robbie, just like her performance was, I just think, better than the character. Like she really nailed that.
Throughout the rest of the squad, there's more people. You have Captain Boomerang.
I personally am a fan of Captain Boomerang. He isn't. There's a disagreement over the fact that, yes, the boomerang thing is silly.
Stupid.
It is silly.
How are you a villain or a hero with a stupid boomerang?
What I like about Boomerang is the character, not what he does. It's always true. It's always about the character, not the thing he does. And the character generally is cool. Here we just got like a few glimpses of what makes people like me like Boomerang, but only a few. And I'm just hoping that we're gonna get to see more of him and get to see more of what like makes him a real butthole.
Maybe.
Okay, if there's any Suicide Squad member throughout the years who was responsible for the most other Suicide Squad member deaths, Boomerang.
Then I definitely don't like him. You are
He's a
causing
butthole.
deaths of your team.
Exactly, he's a butthole.
Go away.
That's what's so great about him.
Okay, moving on from Captain Butthole. So there's other characters they brought into the movie, like Killer Croc. He's really just there for the muscle. He's a cool character. I like what they did with him.
I like the look.
I like the look.
He did some cool fighty stuff.
Yeah, he's there.
Katana
was cool. Katana was cool.
Katana was super awesome.
You know,
I never was a big fan of Katana in the comics. This is the first time that I was like, oh, that's badass.
Yeah, Katana was pretty cool. You know, they made her seem just as dangerous, if not somewhat more dangerous than Deadshot. Enchantress is a big wild card. I don't know much about her from the comic book series. Like
Neither
I said,
do I, actually.
I'm not a huge DC fan. Her character she really didn't fit too well in the movie. She was so mystical and celestial and witchcraft and all this extra insane, what felt like miniature Doctor Strange magic in a world of I have a gun and a really cool laser eye. It was just something that was kind of awkward for me. I don't know.
Okay.
I loved her character, but that was the one thing that took this movie from a possible 9 and dropped it down to an 8. I mean, it was just 1 point. It was just 1 point. But still, that 1 point to me was the fact that it didn't connect well enough for her insane powers to these people just having human abilities of being able to shoot this person and this guy being bit by a radioactive crocodile.
That's really funny because as a fanboy, one of the things I like the most and one of the things I was most excited about is the fact that in this universe we have magic. Granted, there were moments that I thought like, with magic she could have done all of these other things that she didn't do, and that's why things. That's where it feels like nitpicky for me, and I really liked like how powerful and insane she was. That was the thing that made the stakes so high, which is how it elevated the movie for me, actually.
Enchantress was really cool. It was a small nitpick of mine, and I had to put 1 in because overall we liked the movie.
We really liked
the movie, and it was my only nitpick was that the stakes were so high, and then at the end it leveled out, and I'm like, don't level it out, leave it high. But that rolls right into the action.
Let's talk about the action. Overall, it was really good. I was generally aware of where the characters were. When you have a lot of stuff happening at the same time, it's really hard to make. Yeah, it really is hard to make everything clear and also awesome. It wasn't perfect. There are some times where I got lost. There are some things that were a little too in fog or a little too shaky, but the important stuff were always there, which is the kookiness of the characters or the awesomeness of the character, depending on which character we're talking about. That elevator scene.
The action is not insane. It's not like you're gonna watch like the end of Avengers when they're fighting all those crazy aliens. It's not insane. It's kind of controlled and in some ways sloppy, but that's because they want to make sure that you don't lose the kookiness of the Suicide Squad. I mean, think about it. You got a twacked out psychiatrist, a dude who never misses, then you have a crocodile, then you have a guy who
does fire.
It's a jumble of ridiculousness. So why
and
run away?
Awesome.
And awesome at the same time.
And
Ridiculous awesome. So why run away from the ridiculous while you have awesome fighting? So instead of having this bam, bam, slow motion, Kamehameha wave, you have bam, bam, oops, I hurt myself. And it kept the funny rolling. It might be the only thing that keeps it from getting just that much more, is that the action was toned down just a bit just to keep up the kookiness.
I don't feel like it was toned down. I just feel like they didn't manage to make it as good as it could have been. I feel about the action the same way I feel about the movie. I really liked the movie. I really liked the action. It was a lot of fun. Was it the most amazing thing I've seen in the last year? No, but it was still awesome, and I still really enjoyed myself.
Good movie. Should you go see this movie? Yeah, absolutely. I think you should go see this movie.
If you saw the early criticisms and you're unsure if you want to see it, and you're one of those people like me who are waiting for like the DC cinematic universe to have like a good movie, here it is. It is a good movie.
Yeah.
And screw those critics, because the early reviews were. I know I can point at the flaws, and there are flaws in this movie.
Yeah.
But they are minusculed by the cool and awesome stuff that is also there.
Agreed. I don't know what the critics are saying they're bad. There's a reason why the critics aren't saying good, and the viewers are saying yes. On a family note, I took my kids to see it. They're preteens. Overall, besides a little bit of sexual innuendo, which you should expect from Harley Quinn if you know who she is, it's no more than you're going to get from any other action movie involving language. It's a fine movie. They loved it. They were talking about it. They were so excited. So, honestly, thumbs up to this movie. Thank you, DC. You finally did a good one since Dark Knight. Yay!
Yay! Oh yeah, you get the point. You know, one of the things I'm really happy that they're doing in the DC Cinematic Universe, since they're like playing catch up with Marvel, is
Major.
Yeah, Marvel like started everything from scratch. Or like, you know, they started with making Iron Man and establishing him and establishing these characters and then making the Avengers.
Yeah.
What I really like that DC is going in, it's just going in this whole like, you know what, this universe already exists. This stuff is already there. Batman's been doing this stuff for ages. The Joker's been doing this stuff for ages.
It's a good point. And that's what made this movie that much more enjoyable, is that they weren't wasting so much time with all this backstory and all this reasoning and all this explanation. It was just like, here, boom, go.
Another thing that they managed to do that I'm really happy was that, okay, so the whole point is that ever since the Dark Knight trilogy, DC was like, oh, we need to be dark and edgy, and that's what's gonna make us stand out.
Yeah.
And they managed to make it work. They managed to make that movie that is
Dark.
inside that dark tones of the DC cinematic
But
universe.
also kooky and silly.
That's exactly what I wanted Suicide Squad to be. No, I'm serious. That's I wanted Suicide Squad to prove that you can do kooky inside dark universe, just like Daredevil and Jessica Jones proved that you can do dark inside fun, happy times.
Fun, happy times.